What's going on, YouTubers? I wanted to talk about my Harborfreight trailer I got. Long story short, if I could do it again, I would not touch these things. They are trash. For 300 bucks, maybe 350, I guess, or what Harborfreight was selling them for. They seemed like a good deal. What had happened was last year during all this pandemic garbage. I went and bought the kayak and all that and figured, I'll just go pick up a trailer, and come to find out everyone had the same idea. So, a guy down the street had one sitting there. I thought, hey, I'm go see if he wants to sell that one. And sure enough, he was willing to sell it to me. I got it home and I only paid like 150 bucks for it. So I was pretty stoked about it. And then little by little, you start running into issues. The first thing was that when he signed it over to me, he never actually went and registered it. He had bought it and let it sit and never had gotten any kind of paperwork on it. So that made it a complete nightmare to try and, go to the DMV and have all the stuff that you need because you don't have the stuff. And then, of course, with the pandemic, they were doing appointments, so you had to go and call them up or go on their website, and 2 weeks later you had an appointment just to be told that, oh, I don't have the right paperwork. So that got frustrating real quick. I spent all last summer just sitting here. I didn't really do much fishing just because of it. And then once but with my girlfriend's help, once we had gotten the thing all squared away, you come to find out that, oh, I've got a bad hub. So your hub's all warped and spinning on there all lopsided. You go to Harbor Freight, we don't sell those. Oh, well, that's cool, so you go call up the 1-800 number and you're on the phone forever, waiting. And finally, a guy comes and tells you, we're sorry, we don't have that part. So you go online and you start looking and you find out that, everyone's in the same boat. It's some weird Chinese millimeter, instead of, 1 inch or 1 1/4 inch hubs or spindles, that fit through the hub. So, anyways, after scouring the net and trying to find different ways, different parts, whatever, there's actually a company. I found them on eBay. Their name is randpcarriages.com. That's capital, or I'm sorry, it's not capital. It's just R, the word AND and P carriages.com. But they sell a lot of their stuff on eBay, and I come across an axle that they make, and I think, if I remember right, it was a Dexter axle. It's like 2,000 pound capacity. It worked out good. I was worried about the hangers being welded in the wrong spot, to fit perfectly on the Harbor Freight trailer with the leaf springs, for them to line up correctly. So I went ahead and ordered that from them. Got here, and of course UPS screwed up, and the U-bolts and little plates that you use, to tie the trailer assembly to the actual axle, they weren't there, of course. They had fallen off in transit, so I had called the lady up, and she was real nice about it, said, no problem, we'll send you some more, no questions asked. So they take care of their customers. I was really happy because when I went to go bolt that thing up, it could not have lined up better. The hangers that they welded on there are perfectly lined up, with my trailer. So if anybody out there, you guys got this thing just sitting, waiting for parts, looking for parts, whatever, there's so many things on there, like the little bearings, the hub itself, what do you call it, like the spindle nut, like all these things are extremely hard to find, if you even can find them. I don't know. I gave up. So by swapping the axle, now if this thing breaks down on me, you just go to any place that carries bearings for trailers, and you got it. So this is what she looks like. So that's the old one laying there. And as you can tell, this thing is just light duty. It's not even solid, But what had happened was my hub on the, I want to say it's that side over there, on the other side, my wheel started going all lopsided, and I thought, you know, maybe I need to change my bearings, maybe I need to, you know, do that. And I was able to find bearings on eBay for it, but that's about all you can find. So that's the old one. So when you look up under here, we got the new one installed. You can see it's a round axle. Oh, really solid. And I mean, the thing came with bearings already packed and greased, and I mean, I opened them up and looked, and they're legit. The only thing that these hubs don't have, and I mean, for as cheap as this thing was, I probably paid 150 bucks for the whole axle and hubs and everything. But some of the nicer ones have like a nipple right here so you can hook your grease gun on. But I mean, it's no big deal. You should probably open the whole thing up and see what's going on inside anyway. Oh, and one other thing I noticed, these Harborfreight wheels, they had a recall on them, you know, a few years back, and when I had gotten the trailer, of course, you know, it had the old wheels on it. So I went over there and to Harborfreight, and they didn't really give me any trouble with exchanging them. But you know, you get these ones home, and I had one of my mechanic buddies take a look at them. He says, oh yeah, they're not round at all. They are completely out of balance. So just keep that in mind when buying replacement stuff for your trailers and all that. Like, I think Harborfreight should just be avoided. They didn't treat me too well when I was looking for parts and asking questions and all that. So, but yeah, if you happen to make the mistake like I did and you acquired this piece of junk, this is probably your best option if you want to be able to find parts and not have the things melt on you going down the road. You know, them hubs get spinning, and that Harborfreight grease they send in there, I don't even think is real grease. I just think it's on there just to make you think that you've got a nice greased hub. But it more or less, I think, is just for like anti-corrosion purposes. I think that's all it does. But I mean, other than, you know, this thing being bolted together and not welded, I think it's going to be okay for what I want to do with this kayak. But the main thing that bothers me is, like, you know, you look in here and you got these little tiny welds, and I can imagine you put too much stress on this trailer and it's probably going to tear. That weld is probably going to rip or tear, come apart. And I still probably should go through and put real bolts right here, because this folding crap is a joke. Oh, and then one other thing I did was, I've seen a lot of the guys in the Hobie forums on the internet, they take PVC pipe for their bunks. And you know, this kayak is pretty flat on the bottom, so I wasn't too concerned about it. But I mean, this kayak is, you know, entry level, and everything about it I'm finding is just not up to my standards. I mean, you can tell, like, you just bump this thing slightly. I mean, it's just got little nicks and gouges and whatnot all over it. But yeah, the main reason I did the bunks this way was just because, you know, I didn't want my hole on the kayak to actually, like, deform or crack. Or I'm pretty sure I saw a video where a guy was showing how he had a crack up on the top of it from strapping it down weird. Oh, and then one other thing, in my previous video I had talked about siliconing up your hatches. Well, it turns out I took this thing out and I did every hatch except I forgot about the one under my seat right here. So sure enough, I get home, I got a bunch of water inside again, so I'm positive it's coming in right here now. So if you guys have this Ascend 133X kayak and you're having trouble with water inside, I'm almost 99% positive that this is the culprit right here. So I gotta silicone it, but I really just want to put some deck plates. So we'll see, but I get lazy and don't really want to do too much that I don't have to. But yeah, if you guys like the PVC bunk idea, the way I did it, and the reason I did it was because I didn't know how far I was going to have to adjust the PVC pipes apart, the width, because you know you want them to go down your scuppers. So these uni strut pieces that you buy,
you know, they got them little nuts inside you just tighten down and then it locks into place. So with that, you know, you could just loosen it and slide your PVC pipes, you know, back and forth until you get the right setup. Then you just crank them down. Hard to see in the video, but you can tell that those pipes are flexing just perfect. So I'm pretty happy with it. The only thing I did too was I took bushings out of like a skateboard truck that I had laying around from years ago. I put those in between my PVC and the actual uni-strut nut, so then that way, you know, they could have something to cushion on when you're tightening it down, because it being PVC, you know, I was terrified it was gonna crack and break off here, but so far so good. I think as long as you do it right, I think this is probably one of the best ways to transport your kayak. I guess only time will tell. But yeah, I attached the unistrut to the trailer with just some U-bolts. And of course, originally I had these pieces of plywood on here, and you know, thought I was just gonna slide the trailer on and off that, but I kind of figured, hey, why pull all the wood off? Because I think it makes the trailer more rigid. I think having it bolted down in multiple places kind of tightens it up. It's not flexing and all that. But anyways, yeah, I had to drill a hole through my plywood right there. But other than that, these U-bolts, I picked these up at Ace Hardware. They work perfect. The only thing I don't like about them is these plates that they put on the bottom here. I don't know if you can see where my finger's at right there. These plates that go across, as soon as you put any kind of torque on them, they just start bending away, you know? So I ended up doubling up, and I put some extra nuts. Of course, I used Loctite as well, but I put double nuts on there just to ensure it didn't come undone. But yeah, that's my Harborfreight trailer. Like I said, I'm not too happy with it, and if I could do it again, I would have totally bought a more expensive, nicer trailer. And in this sense, trying to go cheap kind of screwed me, and probably ended up costing more money in the long run because of all the little modifications and little things I've had to buy for it, you know. But yeah, if anyone else has got one of these trailers and they can't find bearings or hubs or anything, you know, go check eBay and look up R&ANDP carriages.com. They will make an axle for you, and it should fit perfect like mine did. I think that's it, guys. Hopefully I'll get her back out on the water and we'll catch some fish. All right, guys, you have a good one. Late.